evening, everyone, and welcome back to our painting session. This is Corey from CJ Custom Fishing Lures, bringing to you a new bait tonight. This is a new bait that I'm painting for the first time. This is what they call a baby 110. I have done other 110 jerk baits, ones that have very similar to this size and this nature here, which is a little bigger. But today, we're taking on the little brother. So we're going to go for this one. Very same body, just a little smaller profile. I've heard from some people that they like their jerk baits to have a little smaller profile. So I said, hey, let's try one here. And so we're going to paint this. It's going to be a very basic pattern. It's going to be a fun pattern, and because I'm planning to do my version of the Wonder Bread pattern. And I'm going to show you what I do, and then you can change it to, per se, how you want to do it and how you want to make this unique for you. So we're going to get started here, but before I do that, I just want to thank everybody who's been watching the videos, who's been subscribing to the channel, who has been liking it. I'm very flattered. I'm very flattered that you like the work I do, that you like the videos, and I pray that, and hope that you keep watching them as I make them. So let's get started here. And again, please feel free to leave comments, leave questions. I'm open for feedback, just like everybody should be in this business or making these stuff, so you can always get better. So we're going to start off with my base coat, which I like to use. It's opaque white. I use it from Createx, createxcolors.com. I use this base coat because I just have had great success with it. There are other ones out there. There's other varieties. Do not feel limited just because you see a couple of people use Createx, so that's what you got to use. There are other ones to use and other variations of this as well. So we're going to get this going. And since this does have a little smaller of a profile, it probably won't take us as much paint to cover it. And since we're doing the Wonder Bread pattern, we're going to have to make sure we put a decent base coat of white on this, because most of this lure is going to be white. Somebody last spring said, hey, do you have any Wonder Bread patterns? I said, wow, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just haven't done any yet. He goes, they are a hot item right now for the walleye up north. So we're here in September, and so I said, oh, you know what? I got to start making some new ones for next spring, or even people that want them for the fall, late fall here. So I got the paint on there. We're going to give it a heat set because we want this to dry a little bit before we throw the next layer on of white. One thing I have noticed about this lure is right away is that it's very smooth compared to its older cousin or bigger cousin, which has a little more ridges on them, a little more like built-in scale, so it holds all the paint in there a little different, giving it a little different look there. So we got it on there. Going to clear out my airbrush, not fully, because we are going to come back with some more of the white, but we're going to be doing it in the pearl white. So you can clean it out, you just don't have to get it spotted out like if you had black in there and you want to switch colors. So going to heat set again before we throw some of the next layer on. And this is just a simple, fun pattern. It's a very basic pattern, especially if you're starting out. This is a pattern that you can do very successfully yourself. And it leaves it for a lot of interpretation of what you can do. I'll show you my interpretation of it. And again, feel free to make it how you want it. This is your bait. This is your custom bait that you're making. And if you're just making it for your tackle box, make it how you want it. That's how I started out. I wanted lures the way I wanted the lures to look, and that's what I made. And so I challenge you to do the exact same thing. Make what you want, not what people force you to make. Now, we all know that if you start to do this and start to sell them, then you got to start making it the way people want, or you got to keep making the ones you're currently making the way people want them. So, but right now, you make this bait how you want, and I'm putting a nice coat of pearl white on there. I'm going to try and show you here. It is from Createx, It is the pearl white. As you can see, I picked this one up at Hobby Lobby. It's pretty inexpensive for the bottle, about $5, a little more after tax. But it's a nice little bottle, and this has lasted a very, very long time. So this is a really great one, and as you can see, it really pops out the sparkle and gives it a little shine and shimmer on the bait. So I'm going to clear out the airbrush while it's drying just quickly, because we're not really done with the white color yet, because I want to make this pop even more than what it's doing just with the pearl. So we put it on there. I'm going to heat set really, really quick. Again, I am just using a heat gun. I keep saying I got it from Harbor Freight. I'm pretty sure I did get it from Harbor Freight, or I ordered it off Amazon. It is just a basic Work Pro heat gun. And if you are someone that's into making jigs as well, it's really nice because the base of this stands up and it doesn't overheat, and allows you to heat the jigs and work it there as well. I did forget to show you in the beginning my airbrush, just a very basic Nero Iwata airbrush. I just use a basic airbrush. I do not have the big expensive ones. I figure if I can do this with the basic brushes, someday when I feel I'm ready for the other ones, I'll be even better, supposedly. That's how it goes. Now, I'm going to put a little paint shifter on this over this white. And one paint shifter I really enjoy putting over top of white is this one from Turbo Dork. It's called Pearly Gates. And one thing I really like about this paint shifter from Turbo Dork is on here it tells you which one would be really good for a base coat to put on. Sometimes you don't get that all the time with some of the paint shifters, but this one tells you, hey, this shoots really well and is amazing when you put it over this base coat. So it says whites to do what we want to do here. What I do here is this shoots always a little thick for me, so I use some of my Createx Colors 4011 reducer, and I thin down the paint shifter a little bit. And to do that, all I do is put it all in there, put my finger over the end, push down, and just pull back. I have the dual action on the airbrush, and so when I do that, nice and slow, it stirs it all up and gets it ready for me. And now I'm just going to, again, just go over. I'm just going to get the paint onto this. All I want to make it do is make that white pop and shine. And man, as I'm putting it on here, I'm seeing it in the light. Whew. Let me get a heat set for this. This looks good. This looks good. This is going to make this pop out really good. Now, you could have done this at the end, because we're not going to cover this whole lure in all colors, so like this wouldn't work out. We are going to have a lot of white on this. So you could have put the paint shifter on in the end, but I like having it on there so I can see how things are going. This is looking nice. Looking really, really, really nice. So here, let me put it up here. Hopefully we can get it in focus. Man, you can just see the shine. You can see how it just shifts colors. Man, that looks nice. That looks nice. So we're going to clear that out of the airbrush. And believe it or not, for a few minutes here, we're going to put the airbrush down to do this pattern. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to put, I have these little, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I have these little dot makers. I found these at Harbor Freight. I don't know the exact name of them. They all come in different sizes. And what I'm going to do is use this to make the dots on the side. And what I like to use is the Wonder Bread pattern. Now, I'm very strategic in the way I put them on. So I'll show you what I do. I'm going to pull out my sponge to lay the bait on there so we can see. I'm going to lay it on there. Now, I have 3 colors that I'm going to use for this. We're going to use my transparent bright yellow. We're going to use transparent bright red. And we're going to use some transparent bright blue. really just using the basic primary colors to do this next spot. Now, the interesting thing about these, I call them dot makers, is they have this big ball on the end, or the small ball on the end, whatever it may be. But the thing about it is, this isn't the whole size of the dot. All right, it's just going to be where this tip rounds out. So it's not going to cover the whole diameter of this, but it's going to be up here in a little bit. Now I have different sizes. You can see there's 2 sizes on each one. I'm going to start, since this is a little bit of a smaller one, I'm going to start with this small end here to see if that makes any difference. And so I am going to start with yellow. I'm going to untake the top off here, so I just have the cap, and that's all I'm going to use is just the cap right now. And I'm going to dip in with the dot, put the paint on the end, and then I'm just going to lightly tap it down in the lure. And I think this is the size I want. And I'm going to make 3 of them in different spots. So if I was to do that, then show you, here's all I did. That's it. That's all I did on this side with the yellow. So then I'm going to cover up my paint, because I learned the hard way that I didn't cover my paint, and next thing I know I covered, I believe it was in red paint, and that does wonders for clothes. So I learned that hard lesson. Gonna give this a heat set, not too much, because even though it's puffed up a little, I don't want the paint underneath to start cracking. Now, you have a choice here, is you can do these dots now in the same size, or you can make this one a little bigger. And so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make the blue dots next, but I think I'm going to make the blue dots the same size as the yellow. So again, all I'm doing is taking the cap right there. I'm going to move this up here so I don't spill it. Tap it in so it covers, pop it on. And if you notice it doesn't get dark as you want, put a little more back on. And it doesn't have to be a pattern where it's on the same side. And I just tap it on. It looks really, really good. Really good. Now, some of it will come out a little darker in some spots, but it will dry. I promise you, it will dry, and it will be okay. I'm going to give it a little heat. Give it a little love here. All good there. Now I'm going to do the red, and I think I'm going to take it and make these just a little bigger of a dot. I think it'll be a nice contrast in the water. Put there. So I'm not going to go huge. This is the one I was using. I'm just going to take it up the next size. So put them down there. And as I said before, these things I did get at Hobby Lobby. I was just walking around and I saw them and I'm like, ooh, those are perfect. Because I was using Q-tips and it wasn't always coming out the way I wanted, and this became making the dots the way I wanted it. Now, I'll close this up because we are going to have to do the other side, but I want to give it a chance to dry. That's what it's looking like. That's really, really nice. Now, some of the other type of tools I use to make dots is my daughter gave these to me for when she would make her paint her nails and put the designs on those. So you might see something like these. And these are very, very effective for making dots. If I'm using, I might even use like this one here if I'm making rainbow trout patterns, and use these as the dots at the top of the trout. So there's those as well. And the ones here that have the metal balls on the end, I can get up to this size too. So it gives you a variety to take care of the needs you have. So I'm just going to set that right there. I'm going to give this, it was drying a little bit, going to give it a little more heat. I don't want to crack the paint underneath. And one of the beautiful things about this sponge is I should be able to turn it right over and it shouldn't ruin everything. So make sure it's decently dry before you do that. And now I'm just going to go back and take the colors and do exactly what I just did, but on the other side. So I'm going to start with the yellow, pop it in, 1, 2, 3. And again, they do not all have to be the same size. Cap it. We're going to go to blue. Always give your paint a quick shake. Tapped in. Tap. Get the next one. Dot. Next one. As you can see from these, and again, like I said, these will dry. They will look good. If you see, even on the end down there, the one is a little bigger than the other, and that's okay. And you can see from paint on the sponge, everything's looking good on that side. And now it's time to do the red. And we're going to use the one that's a little bigger. Boom. And one more. Oh, let's put it here. And there we go. That's all we got to do for the dots. Right there. Look at that. That looks really, really cool. And again, you have the other side. Still looking good. Now, it might not come out uniform where you're doing the same size dots on each side, and that's okay. It's okay to have the dots in different arrangements. It's your custom bait. You can make it the way you want. So I'm just going to put this back into the helping hands so I can get both sides up to dry it. This one's a little tricky because some of the eyelet rings are going some different ways. So again, we're going to throw a quick heat set because of these dots. And when you get them all dried out and you let this paint sit a little, you can always come back and tap up those dots again to get them to look the way you want. Now, some might say I should have done this next part first, but again, it's totally your preference. I wanted to arrange it. What I'm going to do is I just don't leave it white, but using the same 3 colors, I put a top on, I shade the eyes. So I'm going to top on up here, I'm going to shade the eyes, and then I'm going to give it some color underneath using the same 3 colors. I'm not going to break from those colors. So we're going to take the yellow to start. Again, it's the transparent bright yellow. That's what we're going to use. And we don't need a lot. Don't need a lot in there. We're going to turn some pressure down so it's not all over the place. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this front to back. So I'm going to start shooting here at the nose and work to the tail, because I don't want to put too much overspray, so I'm covering up the dots, but I really want the top all covered up. So that's all we're doing, right down the middle, staying as true to the center as possible without side. And this is the part where you can make it as light as you want, or you can make it as dark as you want. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm staying true to the colors that they use: the yellow, the blue, and the red. So I'm not switching colors up. I'm using the yellow, the blue, and the red. And if you notice, there's the top. Just a nice stripe right down the middle. To give it that look, I can give it a quick heat set. It shouldn't need too much. And then I can see if I need to hit it again. And hitting the pearl color underneath and hitting the paint shifter underneath, it is still coming through. See if I can get it here. Even with this yellow, you can still see it over on the side. Still coming through, giving it a shine there. I'm just going to give it a little more on the stripe. Not a lot. I just wanted a little darker on top of the yellow. And that's going to do it. That looks nice. Now, as I said, I'm not done using the other colors. So now I'm going to take the blue, and I'm going to use even less of the blue, because what I'm going to use the blue is to darken the eyes. To darken the eyes on this bait. So a lot of times I will put black around the eyes, but for this time we're going to put blue. Now, one lesson I've learned about shooting blue, again, it's the transparent bright blue from Createx, is blue seems to be very thin just like the red and the orange. So this will come out very fast. So you need one, you need great trigger control. Two, you gotta turn your pressure down. I'm trying to get the pressure under 15 for this. So all I'm going to do is darken these eyes. Just like that. Give it those eyes a little backing. So when I do put them in there, it helps them to stand out. And it's okay to come around the edge a little bit to bring it, because that will help the eyes to pop. Now, not sure if I'm going to put a clear eye in this or if I'm going to put red eyes in. I haven't figured that part out. I'm going to see how they look next to each other before I do it. But I think I'm going to go the clear eyes on this one. I do. I think that's going to look amazing. So there it is. I have the yellow on top, the blue right here, and now it's left is to add the red. So we're going to clear out the paintbrush or airbrush. Best as always when you're doing it, when you're cleaning, to bring your pressure up a little to make sure enough air is going through to dislodge any paint that might be sticking or any chunks that might be in that. You can pop it out really quick. And now this last step I'm going to do is take the red, again, the bright red. We're going to do the underneath it, but we're not going to do a whole stripe down the whole middle. Now, I'll show you what I mean here. But you have the right to do that if you want. You might say, hey, that actually looks pretty cool. So, pressure down because it's red. It likes to shoot. All right, and take this out of the helping hands. So, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to shoot all the way down the middle. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give it the end, and I'm going to give it up here in the front. Just enough to make it stand out. So, my hand is shaking there, so let's see. All right. Then I'm going to do down here. This one, the overspray might go up on the gill a little, and that's okay. All right. So there we have the red, and there we have the red. Keeping true to the fact that I have the yellow, the blue, and the red, so I'm going to go the yellow, blue, and the red. And I think that's coming out really, really nice. Now this time when I put it in the helping hands, I'm only going to put it by the bill. And if I had more of these I was painting at one time, I would be holding it here by the bill, and it gives it a little more look in there. So I'm going to give it some heat. And there we go. Now that's my version of the Wonder Bread. Now, you could put more dots all over this. You could add more dots. And I'm looking right now at the one dot, and it looks like it just, one dot needs touched up. Dab it in there very carefully. Boom. Done. Done. Back to like the rest of them. All right, and you can see when I sprayed the red, it gave me a little different color here. I think some of the blue might have still been in the gun a little. So you can always come back and fix that. One way to fix that is you could do white, or you could just add more red, but I kind of like that look to it. So that is our Wonder Bread pattern. So I want to give you a quick run back through the colors we used. We started off with opaque white, doing for our base coat. Then we came and used some pearl white to make it pop a little. And then to really make it stand out and pop, we came with Turbo Dark Pearly Gates and put that on top. And remember, we added the 4011 reducer to that to help thin it down. Afterwards, using our dot makers, I'll call them, or our little stencil peds here, we put bright yellow for dots. We put transparent bright blue for dots. Then we switched a little bigger, and we used transparent bright red for the dots. And then we came back with the 3 colors, put the yellow on top, blue in the eyes, and then add red to the bottom. So right there is my version of the Wonder Bread Minnow. So the next step, I gotta let this dry a little more. One, because I just put that other dot on there. It's not totally set. When I get it done, we're gonna do the next step, which we always do, is we're going to put a little UVS clear gloss on. Remember, we mix this with the 4011, and we spray that on nice and get a good coat of it. I don't put the eyes on until afterwards. I know some people put the eyes on before, but I put the eyes on afterwards. We'll put the eyes on, and then we will dip it in our Illuma UV. And then into the curing box it goes. Sits there for a few hours because I want to make sure it's good and hard. And then we pull it out, throw some hooks on it. So I hope you found out some good information. I hope you have learned something. I hope you can see different tools. And it doesn't all have to be Airbrush. It can be some other hand tools to help you to make these lures. So I hope you learned something. And please, if you like what you saw, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please leave a comment. And please click the follow button as well. I'd love to hear from you. As I said before, I'm really flattered with the amount of subscribers that are coming through, and I hope to keep making some videos that you like. So as I finish up, I just want to say this is Corey from CJ Custom Fishing Lures. And if you go to our website at cjcustomfishinglures.com, it'll be on the screen there that you can see some of these baits. It's going to take a little while for these to get up there because I have to finish the run of them. But if you don't see it, please message me and stuff like that. And just remember, here at CJ Custom Fishing Lures, we make serious baits for serious fish. Until the next video, until the next time, best of luck on the water, and I look forward to talking with you later.